Howdy, Bart here, and welcome. And what I'm doing in today's stream is actually going to be doing some speed building for asset packs from Synty Studios, the Polygon Series. This particular one that I'm finishing up on right now is Polygon Western. It's relatively new, and these are all in Unreal Engine 4, and it's all I use. And welcome. What I'm doing is creating a series of speed builds that will showcase the actual asset pack itself. So far, here's what I've done: is I've gone ahead and created a sample character with holster and 6-gun on his hip, some background music, some background sounds. But making a few changes to the demo map. There was an issue with collisions over here to where you could not get up the stairwell, so I fixed that. Opened up the doors so that you can actually walk into all the buildings. Most of them are already pre-populated with stuff from the asset pack, but what I've done is gone ahead and opened up the rest of them. You can't get in the poop house. Well, I can fix that later. So now you'll be able to walk into all of the buildings. All the doors are open up enough to where you can get in. And for the saloon, you can hear music coming in from the outside. I need to make some adjustments to the attenuation settings on the music. And what I'm getting ready to do is start creating some NPCs to place around the map to make it feel a little bit more lived in. I'm not sure what I can do about the brightness level. This is a really, really bright map because of the light color of the ground texture. So, yeah. So, with that being said, everything seems to be a series of placed objects. I don't think there's actually a terrain. And one of the things that bugs me is always having everything in just random folders. So I'm going to go ahead and create, just to clean things up, buildings folder, and crap. Let's see, that's audio, player starts, point lights, post-processing. Can actually put those into the lighting folder. Buildings, well, let's go ahead, and we know that this is church. I'm gonna roll up here and just kind of scroll up and see what I can find for other building parts. It's fencing. Just gonna go ahead and right click, move to buildings, and I'm gonna go ahead and put fences and stuff in the same just for now, just to kind of clean things up. Scroll through and grab all those. Go ahead and move to buildings, background stuff. I actually can create another folder for background. And we'll go ahead and select those. The butts, or the buttes rather, and cliffs, those are all background items. Clouds, that's background stuff. And we'll go ahead and right click on that, move to backgrounds. And let's see, you got graves, roads, there's some rocks. And we're going to go ahead and dump those into backgrounds. Just, trying to clean things up a little bit. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and dump all this stuff into backgrounds, and it can be sorted out later. And we will create a new folder called map shit, and we're just going to throw the extra shit inside there. Drag them into the map shit folder, close that, and there we go. Alright, so let's just clean that up a little bit. Let's go ahead and make a new folder because we're going to create some NPCs and call it NPC. Good enough. And let's go ahead and go to our characters, create a new folder called NPC, and we're going to do this the quick and easy way. We're going to grab our player character, and I'm going to drag him into here, make a copy, and I'm going to rename that to NPC underscore base. This isn't really a how-to video. This is just, me doing some speed build stuff. Well, first off, we don't need any of this stuff for an NPC. We're going to create our own new setup. We don't need the follow camera. We don't need the camera boom. I am going to go ahead and leave the holster and gun because I'm going to use that for a couple of the characters, but not all of them. So I'm also going to create a duplicate of this, and we're going to call this NPC roam. Yeah, NPC roamer, that's good enough. And we can go into this one, and yeah, that's good. And then I'll go ahead and make another, which you can use Control W, and I'm just going to call this NPC Show Girls, and we'll use this one as our first example here. And with the Show Girls, we don't want them toting around a 6-gun and a holster, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go back to my mesh, go to my character, and go to Working Girl. And knowing how Synty Studios stuff is, you've got multiple colors you can choose by changing this, your material. So first off, what I'm going to do is compile and save, drag this over to here, and I'm going to want to be able to see what I'm working on. So for now, I'm just going to stick a couple of them up here on the entryway. Let's go throw 4 of them. I'm going to delete them here shortly anyway, but you can see right now they all look the same clothing and everything. So here's what I'm going to do is go to my event graph, and we're going to do event begin play, and from the event begin play we're going to go ahead and do random integer in range. And what we're going to do is, let's actually look. We've got total of 12. I'm not going to do all 12. I'm going to do 4. And that'll be good for now. But so you got A, B, and C, and then 2 A, B, and C, 3 A, B, and C, 4 A, B, and C. And this can work for 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5 for creating a random look for your characters. So what I'm going to do is, with this, I'm going to come off from the return value. I'm going to hit equal, and we're going to do a branch node. And what we're trying to do here is we're going to ask the question, is this number equal to 0? And let's change this number to 3. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll have 4 numbers. We're going to take this, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. So we have a total of 4 of them. And we're going to go ahead and link this to the top node on each one of those. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3. So that's all 4 of those. And from here, if it equals to 0, then we want to set material, and want to go ahead and grab our mesh reference. I'm just going to throw it over here because we're going to use it multiple times. And when we set our material, it is for element 1, yes, element 0, excuse me. And we're going to tell it to use Matte Polygon Western 01A. And now we can actually come over here, Control C, Control V, and paste a second version in. And we need to link from the faults to this node. We need to link from the mesh to the target, and from number 1 to right here. And we'll do one more here, and one more here. So this will be all 4 of them. So now we can go ahead and set up. We got 0, 1, 2. This will be 03A, and this will be 04A. And again, I want to link from the faults to the start of the new branch. Faults to the start of the new branch. I'm going to go ahead from the mesh to target. mesh to target from here to the branch. So we're looking from here to here. We're going to ask if it's 0, 1, 2, or 3. If it's 0, we're going to go to 0, 1A. If it's 1, it's going to go to 0, 2A. If we go to this one, it's going to be 0, 3A. If we go for this one, it's going to be 0, 4A. So that's going to say if on event begin play, it's going to randomly select between those 4 colors. So now if I turn around, well, we haven't compiled the shader yet. That, or there's a problem with one of the textures. So let's actually take a look really quickly. We'll go back to our showgirl, go to our mesh, and let's look at 04A. And it looks like it might be a bit of a problem. So let's compile shaders and see if it fixes it. If not, then we'll just select a different color. Here we go. So it is yellow. That one does work. We'll look quickly at 03A. It needs to compile those shaders because, you know, I haven't done it. This pack is only $20, believe it or not. Absolutely love it. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while. Really want the war pack, but it's $80 right now, and it's just a bit out of my price range. So I've been asking people to make donations so I can purchase it. So 02A is not drawing the shaders. Let's try loading a different one in and see what happens. There's compiling shaders on 02B. And see how that works. Let's go back to 01A and see if it'll find those textures. And meantime, let's go to the actual asset pack. Let's go to our textures. 02A should be normal. Material 02A should be good to go as well. Yeah. So I'm not sure why 02A is not working. I'm going to try it at 02C. See what that one does. It immediately goes to the shaders. No big deal. So there might actually be a problem with 02A. Yeah, 02A is not loading the material on this character. So we're just going to put it at 02B, and we'll go back to our event graph, go to our second one, and change this one to 02B. Compile and save. And now when we go back into our map, check out our 4 girls. How about that? Completely random, and one stayed purple, and the other 3 decided they were going to be the green. So let's do it again. And 1 purple, 3 greens. Really? Alright, so why does it keep going to the green ones all over? This is going to 03A, this is going to 04A. Okay, well it's still random. 0, 1, 2, 3. The red lines are linked. Everything else is linked. So it works. That's good enough for me for right now. So I'll go ahead and grab these 4 chickies. Delete them. And I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of them upstairs. I haven't added any other custom animations in. I'm just using the base animations that I've converted from the regular animation system. So we go in here, we'll grab our showgirl. We're going to grab one. We're going to throw her right here. And let's get her close to the railing so that we can see her better and be able to walk by. Now what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm just going to place a couple of these in here, and then I'm going to create another NPC and just a couple random NPCs around town. But I'll go ahead and I'll make a roamer. And I'm going to throw one little chickie over here, have her just hanging out in the corner. So now when we go in, walk into the saloon, we got some music playing. Got a couple girls. We need to start getting some bartenders, and let's actually go ahead and Control W on that one, and let's actually rename it to NPC _ townie And let's go into the townie. We're going to leave this code in here because this should work. We'll look at our mesh. We'll change that over to... now, with the townie, we could do the same basic thing here we did for setting some randoms. I mean, we could do a woman. We can do sheriff. He looks pretty stylish with that white jacket and hat. That's pretty cool. We can do a gunman. Yay. Cowgirl. Of course, we got the cowboy. And you got a businessman, which looks good for a townie. You get the bad guy. So what I want to do here is we look at it. We've got, besides the showgirls, we don't need to do any more with them. Let's go ahead and look at the meshes folder for the asset pack. Go to characters, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more characters we can use. So we can do the same basic thing here. And let's compile and save. Let's go ahead and compact this down. We're going to select all this stuff right here for changing the material. We're going to right click on it, collapse nodes, and clothing changer. We're going to throw that up here. We're going to bring in a sequence node. And from the sequence node, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we did. We're going to make another same version of this, but we're going to create it for the skeletal meshes. So let's do random integer in range. And we said we had 7, so we need to change this number to 6. We need a equal for the integer, and I'm going to go ahead and Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I'm just going to go ahead and line these guys up. So we can actually randomly generate a skeletal mesh off of this one same character. And we just want to link the top nodes from the random integer, or the number picker. Not the nose picker, but the number picker. Alright, so that's going to cover that. We need a... we need a... Quit being a dum-dum. Wrong key. Branch node. Thank you. And then from our branch node, we want to say, is it gonna be this? And we're going to link from here to here. And we're just going to go ahead and stick that up there. And if it is 0, then we want to first get a reference to our mesh. And we want to set skeletal mesh from that mesh, and we're going to link that to here, and we want to use the first one. It's going to be bad guy. So now we can actually grab these. Control C, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get a little bit closer. And 5, 6, and last but not least, number 7. It's going to look messy, but we can collapse it down so it doesn't take up as much room. And I'm going to go ahead and link the boolean to the equal node. And you can't see as closely as you'd like to, but that's alright. We'll zoom in and make sure we get everything done correctly. So from there, we need to then make sure we're doing from our faults to the next branch, and just connecting them all the way down like that. And this is a really simple way of just creating random NPCs that can either be static, or we can also use the same one. I'll make another copy of it and actually create it as a one that'll actually walk around. So now we need to make sure we link our mesh to target. And we're almost done with this part of it. Then all we got to do is just go back through and just change the skeletal mesh we want it to become, so that every time we place one down, it could potentially be a different character. So final mesh to target, and come back over here. We've already set the first one to bad guy, and we need to change this one to businessman. I'm just going to go down the list. Cowboy, and then cowgirl. This one will be gunman. Then we'll do sheriff and woman, and that should take care of it. So we got meshes linked up, we got that linked up, that linked up. That's good to go. Let's go ahead and do a quick test. Let's grab an NPC townie, and I'm going to throw one here. And I'm just going to rotate him so he's facing the bar. And we're going to throw one behind the counter. We don't know what the bartender is going to look like, so whatever. And we'll throw one right here. One guy over here. We're just going to place a few of them around the inside of the bar, just so they're standing up. And for the heck of it, we'll throw two of them out here on the top of the balcony, which we need to open the doors for because, well, we want to be able to get out here on the balcony. So we need to grab the door, rotate it open. Ooh, no. It has glass on it, so we need to make sure we're grabbing the door and the glass, and then rotate that open. Grab the glass and the door, and rotate that one open. So now let's go ahead and hit play. Alright, see, we got some random dudes standing around. They all look a little bit different. We can go walk upstairs, make sure we can walk by our hookers, I mean our ladies, and walk outside, and we got two different separate guys there. Awesome, that works. Alright, so now we want some roamers. We want some guys walking around this place. We got to have some action, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out, get an overview of the town. I'm actually going to make a T shape. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my volumes, set in nav mesh bounds, and scale it out. First off, I want to scale it out to where that should be good enough for that lengthwise. I want to make sure that they're able to walk into the church. So I'm going to stretch it out this way. Actually, I'm going to do multiples. And it's not a problem doing multiples whenever you're setting up your nav mesh bounds. They're going to overlap each other and still function. So that should, well, let's make it a little bit bigger so they can walk into the graveyard. So let's actually scale it out a little bit more this way. And move it back just a hair. That's fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab another one, which we'll put in right here. Let's go ahead and scale that out so we cover the main street area. Cover the width. That's good enough. We're going to slide it over. Now, I'm not worried about the height of it yet. We're going to adjust that in just a minute. Let's see, it's not quite overlapping, so I need to make sure that I grab that nav mesh. Let's move it over just so it overlaps. And I'm going to go ahead and create another folder. Let's go ahead and grab these NPCs, drag them into the NPC folder, and let's close out the backgrounds. Let's go ahead and create a new folder for nav mesh, so I can drag those into the nav mesh folder and keep everything neat. Alright, so we've got the T shape, but I want to add some more over here so that they can actually walk into the buildings and go upstairs and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another nav mesh, and I want to make sure that I size this one up a little bit on this value. Bring it up so it's just barely sticking through the ground, and I'm going to go ahead and size it across. That's good enough. That's good enough. And this doesn't have to be totally perfect. we just want to be able to get this to where, actually I'm going to scale it a little bit larger here. Then I'm actually going to take this same one that I just created, and I'm going to Control C, Control V, so I can make a copy of it, and I'm going to drag it over here. And let's hit the P key so we can see where our nav mesh bounds are going. So you can see we got a little issue with the nav mesh. It's to be expected. I'm going to grab another one, and let's go ahead and scale it out. You see they kind of overlap a little bit, but they're not really covering enough of the ground. I want it to cover a little bit more, so I'm actually going to scale it a little higher. And I'm going to grab that same one we just created there, Control C, Control V, because setting up multiple nav mesh bounds is not a problem. You can set up as many as you need to get everything done. And I just want to connect this one over here so it's joined in. And we're going to make it a little bit bigger and slide it back over some. Now what I want to make sure I do is I have all of my nav mesh bounds in the same folder. Now I can go into it and select all of them, and I'm going to move them up and down a little bit just so, yeah, we see this first one that we created. It actually needs to be scaled up bigger, so we're going to scale it to 3. So now we can see we got green coverage of the majority of the town. That's good enough. So we're going to hit the P key again, and we're done with setting our nav mesh bounds. Let's go ahead and create the roamer NPC, and we want to go ahead and copy in the same thing that we have here. So we have random NPCs. So I'm going to grab all of this stuff, and I am going to, well, let's go ahead and Control C and make a copy of it first, and then let's go ahead and collapse nodes, mesher. We don't care what it's called, it doesn't really matter. So we just need to go into our NPC roamer and event begin play, and then let's go ahead and set up a sequence node in case we want to come back in later and add in the clothing changer. And then let's scroll out a little bit. Let's Control V, paste this in here, connect that up to our then 0, and so that we can compact all this stuff and make it a little bit cleaner. We're going to go ahead and right click on it, collapse nodes, mesh, mixer, whatever, doesn't matter. So that just cleans out the blueprint a little bit, makes it look a little nicer. So now what we need to do is go to event tick, and from our event tick we need to create the roaming stuff. So we know they're all animated, they're working correctly and everything. We still have the weapon attached to them. We'll see how that looks and see where we can go from there. But all we need to do now is tell this dude that he needs to roam around. So we need to go ahead and do a branch node. We need a new variable called isMoving ? And we want to ask, is our character currently moving? And if the answer is no, we are not currently moving, then we want to AI move to, and from this AI move to, we need to go ahead and get a couple things. Let's go ahead and grab a reference to our mesh, and we need to get our world location. And with our world location selected, we can now slide this over just a little bit more, because we need to first off get the pawn, and we need to get referenced, or get a reference to self, so we know that we're talking to ourselves here. And for our destination, what we want to do is get random point in, or get random reachable point in radius. So we want to make sure that he can actually reach it, and the origin is the return value from where the current world location is. So our radius, we're going to go ahead and set this to 5,000. So they can move around in a much larger circle. Target actor we're not worried about because we're not telling them to go towards anybody. That would be good if we're setting up a pawn sensing thing. So that looks good. So what we need to do now is, off of the executable node, we need to set is moving to true, because he is currently moving. Now I'm going to make this another random variable here, so we want to get a random float in range. Even though we need a number, we're going to use a float, because what we need to do now is we need to get a delay. And with our delay, it's going to ask for a float. That's why I went ahead and chose float instead of the integer. And we're going to connect that here. And we're going to connect on success and on fail are both going to go to this delay. And it's going to be a random delay time between 2 seconds and 10 seconds. And then we're going to set is moving to false. So what happens, he's going to walk to this location where he's going to fail to do anything, and then he's going to be able to be free to start moving again. So this will give us the ability for our character to wander around and roam on its own. So we've already given it a nav mesh bounds. Compile and save. And let's go ahead and grab a couple roamers. Let's set them around town. So they should, in theory, work now. And they should be random. They'll go inside, they'll go upstairs, they'll go anywhere where that nav mesh bound says they can go to. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. There we go. They're just wandering around town. However, they're just kind of running, and it just doesn't look like that would be a normal thing. So you look at him, he's going to stop, he's going to pause for that random generated time frame, and then he'll just start going again. It doesn't appear that they can get up here on the train station, so we're going to have to actually add something in, like a set of stairs to get him up there. But the next thing I want to do, though, is go to my character movement, and I want to scroll down to the max walk speed, and I'm going to bump that down to 300. So it slows him down to a walk. And compile and save. I'm going to go ahead and close these guys down, save, exit that, and let's hit play one more time. They're walking briskly. We can still adjust the walk speed a little bit too, but you don't want your characters running around town. You just want them casually walking. They're at least walking briskly. That's good enough for now. So, NPCs, let's go ahead and give them a home in the NPC folder. Now, what else can we do? This is just to give a general test of the asset pack. And what I wanted to do was submit this to Synty Studios in hopes that they will thank me so much for my hard work and effort of making these samples that are people can download these and walk around and play them. Whenever you get the download for this, you install it, or you don't really install anything. It'll be in a development build. You just run it, and you'll be able to do the same thing that we're doing here, just walking around the map and playing it. You won't get free assets, in other words. You'll just get to see how the assets look before you plop down your hard-earned money to purchase them. So we said we wanted to put a set of stairs over here to let us get our NPCs in there. So let's look into our props, and actually I think that's going to be in buildings. There's so many cool little things that they put in these asset packs. So I'm actually going to put one here. Let's go ahead and flop around 180. Still a little bit high. So what I can do is, what I've done with one of my other example maps that I was playing around with, is I took one of these and brought it up, and we want to spin this around as well. So we have an intermediate shelf to walk up to, and we need to make sure it's not sticking up out of the ground, but we want it to be just in the ground. Should be good. Now we can actually come back in with our step. Always lose that during step. And then spin it around 180. No, idiot. 180. Let's hit P. There we go. Gives them a path that they can get in that way. So now let's go ahead and do one more. Control C, Control V. So now we have a pathway. You can see the green goes up there. There's now a path for them to be able to get up to that point. So now they'll be able to roam up top. And we can easily come over here, walk up, and walk inside the building, check it out. Train station. However, there is something missing from this train station. Why would you have a train station and no train? So let's put the train in. So we'll come to Vehicles Rigged, and we want to think about this. You'd want cargo, and you'd want, well, let's see which way the train engine is going. So we can easily just plop it down, and we'll stick it over here. Yeah, that's going to be good, I think. We'll move it back and forth as we need to, but in theory, you wouldn't want your cargo. You want your cargo in front of your passenger cars, because if you were to put a passenger car here and then it's right behind the engine, the smoke from the engine is going to actually be a problem. So we're going to move that up forward just a little bit more to grab this guy. And we'll actually line them up on the track a little bit better here in just a minute. So we'll zoom in, kind of center it on the track. It doesn't fit the track perfectly, but it's good enough. Let's go ahead and grab train engine, get it lined up on the track, and then go ahead and slide it over. And notice that the connection point on the train and the coal tender, they don't match up perfectly. And we'll go ahead and grab that guy, and we'll slide both of them together and hook it up to the passenger car. But in theory, you wouldn't want your passenger car directly behind here, because you're going to have smoke coming off of that, and it would get in your passenger compartment. It would be rather unruly. But we didn't make that, so we're not going to fuss with it too much. But we'll go ahead and add in a boxcar. First, we need to line up this guy. Get him lined up on the track, get it raised up. Same thing, we just want to line it up pretty close. And then we'll shove it up to there. There's no caboose. But okay, this is good enough. We now have a train. We have a train at the station. There's a campfire sitting out here. There's one thing that was not included with this asset pack. Now, if I wasn't doing this as a demonstrator, then I would go ahead and add my own stuff in. But I want to minimize as much as I can of adding. They forgot to put in the particle effects they usually put in. So I don't have anything that I am able to put in with this one to simulate the smoke coming out of the stack of the train, or fire from the campfire over here, or things of that nature. You can see we got pathways up here, so the NPCs can walk inside the rooms and stuff too. I'm going to hit P to get rid of that green. And I think we're pretty much done with this one. This is good enough to really get things going. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And I'll go ahead and do a quick build for the lighting. And I will do a package and we'll start on another one. If you guys want to watch the whole start to finish process of me setting up an asset pack like this, we'll go back to the, we'll say like Polygon City. Oh, there's a couple doors. We need to open them up. I want all the doors to where we can actually walk inside the buildings. So I like doing these walkthroughs so I can actually walk through each one of them and see what's what. See if I can actually get through doors, if I forgot something or whatever. Do that, that's good. We have a back door over here. Yep, so let's open these doors up. That's good. I don't think there's a back door on the church. Nope. Yep, there's two back doors over here. Let's open them. No more back doors, no more back doors. It's all good. Now, there's one thing I did notice on this. The train cars, the doors are not able to open here, and they're not on this. There might be a way of doing it, and I might have an alternate method of doing it as well, but the actual vehicle's rigged. If we go into the skeletal mesh, let's actually go into the skeleton for the freight car. You see, you have doors. They're separate entities. So there should be a way of actually opening up these doors so you can actually put cargo in them. And I'll play around with that in another version of this. But let's do one more quick walkthrough and we'll go ahead and get this set up and ready to package. Walk through here. I fixed a collision issue where you couldn't walk up these stairs. That's good. Now, if you actually had something like this to look at, if you were deciding whether or not you wanted to, I gotta open up the outhouse door a little bit more. If you wanted to decide whether or not you wanted an asset pack or not, and I think having something like this would be a great way of deciding whether or not you want it or not. Yes, I'm looking in the pooper. To have a map you could actually download as an example, walk around on it, and check it all out. Hey, there's nobody in the prison cells. Okay. Cool. Everything looks good. Let's do one more quick walkthrough of the ones on this side of the building, or the street. That's good. There's no doors there. We can walk in over here. It's a nice little market, cash register, kind of good stuff. And we got ammunition. So this could be like a gun shop. You could throw some guns on the shelf. If you wanted to do that, let's take some static weapons on the shelf. You could actually come in here, grab the skeletal mesh for the rifle. And I'm just going to go ahead and rotate it up. Like so. And let's go ahead and see how close to the wall we can get it this way. And drop it down to the shelf. We could do it like that, or we could just drop it down like that, or whatever. You know, you could spend some time actually creating an actual. See, we can take this shelf and bring it out from the wall just a little bit, and I'll actually stretch it just a hair so that we can actually put a couple guns on the rack. There we go. Looks good. We Control C, Control V. We'll put some randomly spaced out rifles. And we'll grab a shotgun and we'll throw it up there as well. Again, just purely for decoration. Control C, Control V, and just put a couple of them here and there. And since you got to have a couple pistols, we'll grab that and we'll rotate it flat. Put that one there. We'll put this one. They should rotate it back the other way. And we'll grab the shotgun pistol. And just to be, for those who actually pay attention as they're walking through the map, it'll look like he's got that one actually stuck underneath the counter to protect his shop from being robbed. Shopkeeper's best friend. Alright, good enough. Now, the things you'll notice is like the buildings have different toppers on them. Those are actually separate. You can actually pick the different tops you want for the different buildings. So you can style the town however you want. There's multiple colors you can apply to the buildings. So you can even change this saloon over to be white or blue or purplish or whatever. Yeah, this looks good. I mean, there's just so much little stuff in here. You want to add more bottles in here and there. Got gold bars. You got a safe. Oh my god, there's just so much little stuff in this asset. Got tin cans. It'd be great to set up tin cans as a shooting alley. But yeah, this is good enough. So while I do a quick build to make sure my lighting is done, again, the whole purpose of this is to create some asset pack samplers, so that whenever you actually are deciding if you want to buy this asset pack, then you could actually download this and run this project. You won't be able to run it as a project where you can go into the editor and look at it. It'll actually be a standalone playable version of the game. So while this is actually doing a lighting build, what I'm going to do is go to my hard drive, and on my particular F drive, which is just for Unreal Engine 4, I'm going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this Polygon _ Western. And now I just got a blank empty folder. So whenever I go to do the packaging, as soon as it's done doing its packaging here, this building of the lighting, I'll show you how I set up mine for just doing a quick packaging build. I don't think it'll let me do a whole lot of it, but if you go to Edit, Project Settings, well, I want to look really quickly, make sure. I was going to put this part of my simple multiplayer, and yeah, I actually did. Okay, so yeah, I already renamed this as my lobby map. So being that I'm using this as my multiplayer template, it's going to take forever to get started on its lighting build. I didn't change anything on the rest of the build, but what you want to look at is for packaging. For just a quick playable demo, all you need to do is set it up for development on your build. Full rebuild is fine. Make sure you're not doing it for distribution, even though you are going to distribute it. But you want to come down here to the packaging section and open up with this Show Advanced. You want to ensure that every map that you have as part of this thing you're going to package for somebody to play is actually listed in here. So you can actually click on this and open. I got my main menu map and I've got my lobby map, and this is going to let me package only those two maps in and not waste any space on the actual build of the project. So that's good. The staging, all the rest of this seems good. Look at all settings. You can look at maps and modes. Main menu map, main menu map, main menu game mode, that's fine. Everything else looks good here. I don't have a transition map built, or I could have put one in here. The server default map, I didn't put anything in that one either, so we're going to leave that one alone. Yeah, all this looks good. I'm going to actually go to description, and we can actually change the project name to Polygon Western Demo, and it's made by Beefalo Bart Gaming, not for public use or distribution. Who cares? Whatever. That's lovely. You don't need to worry about a product ID or project ID. This is the base for. This is a for description. This is a demo of the lack of being able to spell Polygon Western Asset Western. Wow, learn to spell. And we don't have a project thumbnail. Not really critical, but you know, if you wanted to add one, you could. But this is fine. Yeah, we're good. And under packaging, you can actually select things like what you're actually creating it for, the target hardware, and there are no pending. I am only doing it for desktop and using maximum quality, or yeah, quality supported platforms. I'm only doing for Windows, so I can uncheck TV OS. I can do uncheck all platforms, uncheck Android. I'll leave desktop alone, but uncheck HTML, iOS, Linux, Mac, tvOS, and just leave Windows and desktop. Actually, I can just leave Windows only, and that seems to work well for me. And you're going to package less, and it's only going to be packaged for Windows. I'm not going to test this on Mac. I don't have a Mac, so. Well, did I absolutely lose everybody? Alright, it's weird. It wasn't showing an updated stream. And I guess I bored everybody to death and everybody ran off. So, hopefully you guys can hear everything. There is no desktop audio going on right now, just me talking. Yeah, the stream wasn't refreshing. I don't know what was going on there. But right in the middle of doing a packaging build, or a lighting build, and that's just about complete, and then we'll go ahead and finish the packaging, and then I'll have this one ready to upload. It's boring as watching paint dry to actually do a lighting build, because for the most part you're pretty much at a standstill. You can't really do a whole hell of a lot. You gotta wait for it. But this is the final lighting build. I don't have to worry about anything else on that. As soon as it's done, we'll walk around really quickly, say hello, and then we're going to jump right back in. And yes, I have my own development team. In fact, I've actually just fired almost everybody on my development team just because none of the guys on my team can actually keep up with the speed at which I try to do things. So, but I have Beefalo Bart Gaming is the name of my company. I've got my own Discord called Beefalo Bart Gaming. And I utilize this YouTube channel to help promote some of my own stuff as well. This right here is actually was set up specifically to pitch towards Synty Studios to say, hey guys, I love your work. I've created these demos so people can actually play these things, try them before they buy, and see how awesome they frickin' are. So this is how we're going to look. We walk around as our cowboy. Got a 6-gun on our hip. We got random cowboys and cowgirls that are walking around town. We can go into our saloon. The music gets a little bit louder. We'll walk out, and the farther we get away from the saloon, the music's going to fade away. So we can go all the way up here to the church. Got a cowgirl up here in the church. So yeah, this should be good. So all of our packaging settings are ready to go. So all we got to do is just go ahead and hit escape, and we're going to go to file. We're going to go to, and I'll explain that here in just a second. Windows and Windows 64, and we're going to let it go ahead and save. I didn't save it, but that's fine. It's going to ask where I want to save it to. I'm actually going to save it to my folder I just created called Polygon Western, and select folder, and now it's going to package. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm building an overall game that for now is utilizing all of the different asset packs from Synty Studios in the Polygon series. But what the overall feeling of the game is called Center of Gravity, and the game itself is actually a 3D social environment where you go and hang out with your friends, get an apartment, chill, do whatever. But when you're ready to go play a game, you could actually go play different type games, from an RPG to a MOBA to first-person shooter, third-person shooter, go bowling, go to a casino, whatever. There's multiple things for you to do. It's actually more of a social 3D environment to hang out and find games to go play. So you could go play a battle royale game, or you could play an RPG. You could like the MOBA style games, first-person shooters, third-person shooters, a cowboy game, a World War II game. So the pirates, the knights of old times, modern stuff, modern combat. There's, because I'm utilizing all the different Polygon asset packs from Synty Studios, it allows me to have multiple different environments and styles of gameplay. So like this right here could actually be set up as a first-person shooter, third-person shooter, or an RPG based off of the Western pack. Now, one of the things that I forgot to do is run an actual test on this before I did my actual packaging. But what I'll do is I'll actually run the game as soon as it's done packaging, which it won't take too long because there's not a whole heck of a lot of stuff in here. Hey, welcome back, Stormed. Yeah, I don't know what happened. The stream just kind of paused. It wasn't refreshing. It was still live and it was still going on, still doing things, but the actual image on the screen paused. Well, at any one given time, I've had as many as 20 people working on the team, but I've just fired almost everybody on the team because nobody can keep up with me speed-wise. Yeah, not bad. Yesterday and the day before, I was sick as a friggin' dog, and I'm feeling a lot better today. I mean, yesterday I had sinus headache and sinus pressure. It was so bad I almost wanted to throw up from the pain and discomfort. Still got a sinus headache, but not as bad. When you're packaging a map for a final build, it can actually take a little bit longer. But I'm doing a packaging for a development build, and it's still good enough packaging it for a development build for me to post this online, people to download it, and people to play it. So what I'll actually do is I will actually package this one, and I'll put a link in my Discord channel later on for people to download this one and just check out the Wild West pack or this Western pack and see how they like it. But what I'm also going to do is build a shooter demo off of this Wild West pack. I'll take this same map that I've got right here, since I've made some corrections to it, and I will take the same version of this map, I will copy it into another project, and I'll actually add this as part of a shooter, where you can actually walk around with your 6-gun, your rifle, your shotgun, or whatever, and be able to have custom weapons set up in it. I'm going to use my multiplayer template, which is Steam based. I'll use this asset pack from Synty Studios, the Western pack. I'll use the Mocap Online third-person shooter template and combine those all together and quickly hammer out a shooter game where I could actually upload that, and we'll be able to jump in there and run around and shoot at each other in a Wild West map. It'll probably take me longer to upload it to Google Drive than it will for me to actually set it up that way. And honestly, if I started on it, I could be done in about an hour and a half. So this is done packaging. So what I'm going to do is go over to the hard drive where I actually saved it to. And one of the things that I don't like is it packages it in a Windows No Editor folder. So I opened that up, and we see we got our root folder called Polygon Western. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the files, select all of them, right click, and drag them back into the Polygon Western folder. Move here, go back to here, and delete the Windows No Editor folder because we don't need it anymore. So now, I'm going to look into doing PS4 and Xbox later. It takes a little bit of effort to actually get set up to actually publish to them, but there's a lot of loops to jump through. It's not hard to make it work on the consoles. It's just harder to get them approved to be actually available to sell. So I'm going to double click on this, and it's going to, my Windows firewall thing is going to block it at first, but I'm just going to hit allow access. I didn't do anything with the main menu. I guess I can go ahead and create an image for right here if I want to, but we can go to either single player and go right into it. Now, this is the actual game, and I'm playing it as you would if you downloaded this. Well, just hop on my Discord and we can chit chat. So hit escape and go back to my main menu, go to multiplayer, host, and call it whatever I want to, and hit make. And now other people that have this particular game project can log in and play with me. Because, you know, not that I'm against playing with myself. I mean, I'm playing by myself. But, yeah, it's always more fun to play with somebody else or have somebody else play with you. But this was just a quick build on this. It's already packaged. It's ready to go. So I'll go ahead and go back to the main menu and hit exit game. And I will right click and I will add to Polygon Western RAR. Welcome to the Discord channel. So let's see how big it is zipped up. So once I get this packaged, that's good to go. Just about done. Let's see how big the file size is. Go in here. I got so many projects saved, that's crazy. So this was Polygon Western, a whole whopping 122 megabytes. Woo! Yeah, that won't take long to upload. Okay, just for giggles, I'm going to see what other projects I've got stored here on this hard drive. I got car test. I got clown test. I have completely forgotten what clown test was. Actually, don't even need UE4 open. We can close that completely for right now. I'm just going to, before I close out this video and upload the one we just did, and I'll take a break and then we'll come back in. They use the same template for all of my games because it's simple to work with for multiplayer. It's something I made about 3 or 4 months ago. Multiplayer host. Oh yeah. Yeah, this was a clown that I remember my team decided he wanted to purchase and download, so I just rigged it up for him so he could run around and play as the clown. Alright, so main menu, exit game. Let's see what else we got here. GOG demo. This was demo for one of the games that we're putting together, and it should be based off of the Synty Studios assets and the shooter package from, yeah, this is the main demo that I've had linked for a couple times here. I put together a little main menu where you've got some guys just hanging out, chilling, talking. Is your player character, your Steam information. Click on multiplayer, host, and I put in 4 maps to play around with. See if you want to go to Polygon City. You can select the maps here from the from that box. So this is the basic shooter system that I'll be using in the demo for that. I didn't fix the death animation on those guys yet, but yeah, you get the ability to sprint, slow down and walk normal. You can right click to go into combat mode. You've got 5 different main weapons. You can see I put elevators in that'll get you to the little sniper vantage spots. I put in some weapons tables where you can walk to the weapons table. Like, okay, I want weapon 1 is my M4, weapon 2 is L96 sniper rifle, 3 is a shotgun, 4 is an AK-47, and 5 is a rocket launcher. And you hit Q, you can switch over to your pistol, which is a Glock 17 with flashlight. Put my own custom sounds in it. Yeah, pretty cool. But this is available on my Discord as well to download and play. Let's see if I had anything else in here. Cyborg Test was another one. Again, using that same multiplayer template, I put this together to rig some characters for somebody. Come on, load it on up. Again, I use this multiplayer template just because it works. It works really good. Well, yeah, I do all my builds for Win64. Yeah, this is his cyborg characters. You see I've got pawn sensing turned on, so they'll come over and they'll look at you, stare at you for a minute, and get bored and walk away. Some random character generation for the different characters. So I set it to where they would get bored and walk away, you know. So yeah, that was that one. So what I'm going to do is empty my recycling bin. It was just that Windows No Editor folder. There's another featured demo. I don't want to show that one. Hovercars. This is one that I did as part of a live stream. We're just screwing around with John Galt created some stuff, and we were testing out to see what we could do with his stuff for his hover bike, and we tested it out as part of a car controller. It actually handles pretty good, so I like it, but there were some issues that I didn't like that I haven't tried to fix yet. When you're driving, the tires are not animated and they don't turn when you turn the steering wheel. But that was actually remedied in creating a version of Motor City Online. And let's see. Show this one last one, and then I can actually go ahead and be setting up the same project I just packaged. I'll upload that as the sample for the try before you buy template. But this was the test car. This is the one that I was working on, where I've got the actual car replicated. And let's go to city map, give it a whatever name, and go in. So this was my work in progress for the car's mechanics. You can actually see that the steering wheel does turn, and if you could see from the side, if I rotate the camera, you'll be able to see that I can't drive this car because it's not very responsive. I have to work on the overall settings of the car. I also have it set up as rear-wheel drive, limited slip differential. But this project was linked to my Discord channel as well for people to download and play around with. But you also have the hit tab and go to the interior view. And you can actually see your speed on the dash and what gear you're in. It's a simulated manual transmission, so it runs as an automatic, but it's actually, I can change it around a little bit and actually make it an actual manual transmission. And you can actually look around inside the car while you're driving. So, yeah, thought that was kind of cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and this one that we just finished up on the stream, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. I'm going to upload the, this is the Polygon Western. I'm going to upload this. I'll link it in Discord and let you guys download it and walk around and check out the asset pack. But this one I'm going to go ahead and submit to Synty Studios. and hopes that they will appreciate the effort that I'm going through to create a walkable demo where they can link it to their customers or potential customers to check it out and see if they actually like it. So, but what I will do is I will do another speed build on one of the Polygon asset packs. But the next one I'll do, I'll actually do the, I don't know, if you've got a favorite or the Polygon asset packs, let me know in Discord and I'll do it off of that one. But I've got the Polygon City, Polygon Heist, Polygon Pirates. I've got, of course, the Western. You just saw that one. The Dungeons, Knights, and Samurai, and Adventure. So I've got all of them that are available on the UE4 Marketplace, except for the War Pack, which I'm hoping as a trade or a show of faith, hey, I will do these let's build videos on their asset packs and the creation of these try before you buy packs, where, as you see, what I'm doing is I'm actually running, I'll run this one more time. Go to the Polygon Western. Once you download it and extract it, this is what you get, is these folders. You don't get any free assets. You don't get anything free. So it's not like you can download this and be able to steal and rip the stuff out of it and be able to get the assets free of charge. You're not going to get those because they're packed. There's no way that you can actually strip them out and actually use them and get them for free. But what you end up with is, instead of a project that you run inside Unreal Engine 4, this is completely standalone. You just double click on the icon, you run it, and it'll come up to this menu. You can play it in single player, or you can actually do it in multiplayer and enjoy friends with you. So I think this is pretty cool. So what I'm wanting to do is trade this, and I'll do this for all of the other asset packs that I've got, and hopes that they will be thankful enough to give me the War Pack, because I can't afford it right now. There's the guns we put on the counters. I should have changed the collision on the casket so you can climb in the casket. Yeah, see, you walk far enough away from the saloon, you no longer hear the music. But as soon as you start getting closer to it, you'll start hearing the music pick back up. Oh, one thing I didn't do is I didn't set it to looping. So it'll only play it one time and then it'll stop playing. But you'll always have the background sounds, sound of wind and birds chirping and junk like that. I just did not do a looping on the audio. So, okay, go back to the main menu and exit game. So that's what you get by downloading this. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this into my Google Drive account, and I'm going to go ahead and link it in the public lobby of my Discord channel and in the cog-cowboy room of my Discord channel, so that you guys can download it, check it out, play around with it. There's no combat in it. I just wanted it to be a showcase. I'm actually going to do a combat version of the same project, and if you guys want, I will throw in the files that I need to bring in from the asset pack from the third-person template, and actually make a shootable version of that game. It's the multiplayer third-person shooter template from Mocap Online. I'll copy those files in there, modify them to suit my purposes, and actually make a shooter demo of the Western so we can actually run around and play. And I'll actually stream some of the gameplay of it. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and like I said, look for the copy of this on Discord in just a very few minutes. Guys, we'll see you soon.